This is the first time for me to be here. It's a pleasure, and I can see a lot of excitement in the room. So I'm going to jump right into this, talking about the future of AI. But let's talk about the past. In the last 10, 15 years, I delivered maybe 50, 60, 70 keynotes around the world. And I try to always make predictions. Maybe I did like 50 predictions that went wrong. And I'm going to tell you, I had one prediction that actually was right. 2 years ago, October 2022, right at your neighborhood in Singapore, I did a keynote. It was AI the Almighty. I kind of predicted that generative AI is going to come about, and it's going to change our lives. Oh man, it happened. And for all of you that have used generative AI and ChatGPT, you all know how it is impacting our lives. And so for some of you that have never heard about it, you're going to be safe. Not even Terminator going to come after you. So don't worry about it. But I'm going to talk about my new prediction. Might sound very interesting, but I only have around 10, 15 minutes to go through this. So I'm just going to jump right into it. After that prediction, I started a company called Generative AI. Now it's one of the largest AI communities in the world. We have 10 million, more than 10 million AI enthusiasts from around the world working together, collaborating, learning, and building. We're going to announce our open source platform soon, so tune in for it. And also, we are looking for some collaborations and investments. But about the AGI and future of AI, you will know probably by now, and all the Sam Altman tweets, that OpenAI is working hard to get there. But there are lots of speculation and skepticism. Right or wrong, a lot of you might have heard about people saying that these large language models are just next token predictors. They're just autocomplete systems on steroids. They don't understand. They do not have a real reasoning mechanism. I mean, they might be right, but the reality is we came a long way. Although some of those mechanisms are not exactly as we know humans would do it, they are delivering the results. Large language models started as a blob, if you think about an analogy, a blob of cells. You have one cell here. It is evolving. We are going through evolution. It started with a big bang. ChatGPT came, and everybody just got stunned. But that was just the beginning. We might not hear Big Bang every day. I mean, hopefully it's going to be a smooth ride as the evolution went through. But things are going to change. Things are going to change. As we are seeing this change, we can probably predict what's going to come next. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the trends, and I'm going to tell you my thinking around where we're going to land with AGI and how we're going to get there. But I'm not going to talk about too much of what large language models are doing. You're going to hear from our keynotes, and they're going to talk about all the great use cases and applications of AI and generative AI. And as you heard from the keynotes already, it is having real value. I know there are lots of buzzwords and people are using it, but that does not discount the value that you're receiving from this. I'm suggesting SIMTO, our path to AGI. It's not a Japanese word. It's just an acronym for some steps that we are going to see, and we are seeing right now, and it's going to get us there. If we had Charles Darwin here looking at these changes, as you can see the pathway, it would just do this. I mean, this evolution is happening already. It might be slow for some people, but oh my God. LLMs are coming almost every month. And we are getting bombarded with new services, new interesting products. I mean, DeepSeek just changed everything. And it came from China. Good job to the team. So what SIMTO stands for? Let's go through this. Starting with the scaling. Today's theme is AI and sustainability. The way we are growing these AI large language models, it might not be sustainable in future. It is right now taking, companies are spending tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars to develop these LLMs. But with new technologies that are already there, and some of them are coming, they're helping us to build it faster and cheaper. Mixture of experts, which was used at DeepSeek and also a couple of other open source models, showed that they're using it. The closed source, we're not sure about, but we have certain we use around those as well. They're using mixture of experts. And what is exactly mixture of experts? Think about like your brain or even the body. They're mixture of cells. They're specialized in certain capabilities. Essentially, we're thinking about experts, right? Mixture of experts that talking and working together seamlessly. And you don't need a blob of AI that would do everything. You just need these experts to be run at the right time, right place, and it would help us to generate these models easier, faster, and cheaper to run. This is super helpful with sparse attention. Also, it's like our brain, right? We try to focus our attention in parts of the conversations and the context that matters. So it will help us to have a bigger memory, and when you're memorizing things, you only memorize the key points. As I'm memorizing my keynote, sometimes I'll try to memorize some key points to make sure that I can go through it all. So it is pretty much the same thing, and other new technologies that are helping. But that doesn't mean the bigger is always better. We need to be also careful of the efficiency. Not all the big organisms live through now, like you would see one of the examples. So some of these technologies that are helping us to go through this, like QLoRa and flash attention, they're helping us to run these models efficiently. And this is also very important. Again, from sustainability perspective, we don't want to dry our word just to make another large language model, even though we are thinking about AGI, which is going to be awesome, helping us to cure diseases and solve a lot of problems. But the reality is, we need to be better at building smaller, more efficient, and faster, more agile models. And it is going to be a crucial step towards AGI. Knowledge distillation, it is super important to build smaller ones, right? And this distillation is actually one of the interesting ones. You can build smaller models learning from the bigger ones without actually losing a lot of the capabilities and accuracy. And this will help us to recreate smaller models from the bigger ones. You sometimes don't need to retrain and to start from the scratch. The next one, obviously, autonomy. These models are getting better and better. They're better than us in many cases, right? Calculation, memory, and creating some art, text, they're better than human at this point. So just think about your Ferrari getting stuck behind a Toyota Yaris. We don't want to slow down these models. At some point, we need to let these models and AI to start making decisions and act. I know we are all talking about the human in the loop, on the loop, under the loop, whatever terminology that you have heard about. The reality is, because of the competition, we are not going to be keeping these models for very long behind us. In some certain cases, we might want to be decision maker still in the long term. When it comes to human life or judgment or things like that, it is still a general best practice. The responsibility of AI is making our lives better. So you would like to make this AI to be faster, and AI agents are already doing it. Many agents are already making ads, doing negotiations better than us. And it's not about just action. They're learning by themselves. They're trying to find resources and get the best of the data that can make them trained on new information. So self-RAG is a great way to do that. And synthetic data, essentially, three things are making these models better. We have data, algorithm, and compute power, and essentially the power, the energy. So with efficiency, we're going to get better at energy. With this automation, we are going to also generate data that will be used by AI. And you will think, is it going to be helpful? They're going to generate their own data and consume it. And then yes, the result that research shows that it's actually going to be helpful for an AI model to generate data. And the same model would digest it and learn better from this. So it's a self-reflection. And it's going to be super helpful. Multimodality, it's obvious. I cannot imagine an AI that cannot see this word, cannot understand, cannot listen, right? So this is just pretty obvious, and AI is getting better and better. This is a point that we need to work on a lot more these days, because multimodality is the real key to AGI. Learning from this word, getting access to a lot of data that is not available in the text format. And you would see that image in there. This is probably something that you would easily recognize and count at your breakfast buffet. But believe me, many AI algorithms right now cannot count these fruits properly. Many LLMs have problems. And actually, good job, Alibaba Q1, that does the great job. It's one of the algorithms, one of the two major LLMs that is able to do the counting properly. Alignment. OK, this is the trustworthiness is something I added. You don't need it to achieve AGI. You can get AGI, but it's not aligned. And you'll have the paperclip problem. That's not Clippy. Clippy was one of my favorite useless gadgets, but it's actually the paperclip, which is essentially a problem that might arise if the AGI is not aligned. And you all heard about it. But I'm going to talk about what we are doing in order to have more trustworthy AI. And first of all, we all know it's needed, right? We don't want to burn the house to get warm. We want to make sure it's aligned. It's following certain principles. So started by Anthropic, the constitutional AI, they built a model to actually be on top of their long language model to help them to understand what is the outcome that we are expecting. And it will filter through the outcomes. But also a better one is a liner model, which is the one generated by Stanford. It's a model that they sort of trained to learn the residuals between the outcomes that we expect and the ones that are coming out of the model. So it's pretty much similar to us, humans. Part of our brain is thinking and coming up with ideas, and a lot of us will not actually do what comes to our mind. I mean, hopefully it doesn't happen because we're smarter than that. I mean, my brain might say that you should do the breakdance like the guys did in the beginning, but some part of my head, which is hopefully smarter, says, do not do this on the stage now. And I'm not acting on this. So AI needs to be exactly the same. And optimization, as I said, making AI faster, cheaper. It is happening right now. DeepSeek has done it. A lot of other models are now trying to do it very efficiently, building the model faster. And also, this one is specifically about the inference. You cannot have an AGI that costs millions of dollars to run. It is going to make imbalance between companies and countries, which is not the best thing. At the end, if you put them together, the Simto, I believe, that is going to get us to AGI. It's a pathway. It's going to be step by step. It's going to be slow in in our current world, which we're expecting everything to happen very quickly, but it is inevitable. It is something that is happening. We are seeing the results, and we are very, very close to this. At the end of the day, when we get to AGI, maybe in a year or two, I'm not going to make that prediction I was asked, and I'm going to be asked again and again. Maybe in a year or two, we're going to get there. But essentially, if it looks like ice cream, and if it tastes like ice cream, if it smells like ice cream, it's probably ice cream. AGI is going to happen very soon. And as humans, it might be actually a little bit difficult for us to identify exactly at what moment and exactly when and where we are going to get there. But it is very obvious that we are getting too close, and I would predict that very soon it's indistinguishable. And this is obviously the slow evolution that is happening in front of our eyes. I'm not too worried about AGI at this point. I'm more worried about NHS, natural human stupidity. Hopefully, we're going to be able to use this AGI in the best way possible and to push this humanity forward. Thank you very much. Have a good day.